right, guys, welcome to the Broadcast Braddahs. I'm Justin Faisongo. This is Joe Naholowa'a, and we are on the eve, or not the eve, but the week of the eve of the Molokai Solo. And Joe, you were traveling over there to race this race. How you feeling?
Feeling good, feeling excited. We leave tomorrow. Pretty stoked. It's Mother's Day, the day after the race. So
Yep.
so mom and baby get to come and making this one a big family celebration, family affair. So
Kind of a
pretty,
kind of a new feel for you, huh?
yeah, yeah, very much a new feel, and just glad to be able to train and work towards this race, with a lot of new feels. So
You've been putting in a lot of time, and it showed. I mean, I don't have access to your Strava information, but I know you've been on the water a lot. I know you had a race just Saturday with Lanakila, where you stroked their top crew. You guys won. How did that feel?
it felt great for not really spending a lot of time on the six man.
Hmm.
And we got to run our combination that we had for last year's Iron Champs, and it's a great, as you already know, it's a great combination of guys that we've been paddling together now for 5 years, and Danny's really pushing us, and it's been great to battle it out with my teammates on the one mans, but then come together and battle together on the six man. So guys like Tim Berdiak, Steve Sinkus, Matt Kaenon, Danny, of course, Ross Flemmer.
Ross the
It's
boss.
Ross the
Yeah,
boss.
yeah.
Speaking of which, I gotta. I will. I don't. Maybe I'll show you my poi bag setup for the Kaiwi Solo, so I don't have to go. I don't know. Maybe there is a way that I'll still find a way to smoke Ross's poi, because he's gonna be Danny's escort boat help
Oh, he'll be
going
there.
across. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So
okay, cool.
but yeah, so yeah, but it was great to, through the one man season, to just, build with those guys and just train hard. And so yeah,
Yeah.
we get to celebrate that this weekend.
I going back to the family thing and finishing this race, having your family waiting on the beach for you, and having Maggie, your daughter, will be there, and then some of your close friends from Lanakila. I know Danny and Leah are both racing, and Ross will be there, like you just said, and I know you'll have some family from Hawaii there. It's got to be a special
Oh
feeling
yeah,
crossing, especially when you hit that 25-mile mark. give you something to look forward to, huh?
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, doing this race is always special in its own right, but yeah, the fact that I get to do it as a dad and a husband now. The last time I did it, I was a full-on bachelor, pretty
Right.
much. And
Hmm.
yeah, my mom and dad are, will be there too. And so yeah, it's paddling's a family sport, right? At the end of the day. and
It's supposed to
and
be. Yeah.
yeah, and as far as like you just being able to do it for me is like being able to train and prepare for it, to the best that I felt like I could, while balancing, family is, that's been a major adjustment, and I'm sure a lot of paddlers have gone through that and still do. And so, I'm all ears. I get advice from Will, from Sinkus, from Danny, and ironically, they're all girl dads too. So,
Right. Right.
but yeah, so I'm all ears on advice, as far as being a paddler parent. But
By the way, thanks to Waiakea, Jason at Waiakea, for
are
sending some Waiakea water for us to have tonight.
you pouring it in two canisters? Is that what's going on? You double
I just
fisting
have
some
I have
water?
ice. No, I have ice in here.
Oh, I thought I saw two. I thought you had two
Well,
stainless steel.
I was pouring it in.
Oh,
I think the bottle just reflected it anyway. So sorry.
okay.
But I was gonna ask you. So let's talk strategy based on conditions, how they are, how we saw them
Yeah,
today. I know the wind looks like it's back up again. It's
yeah.
been
It
up and
keeps.
down every other hour. It seems like, right?
Yeah, it's like the stock market. You just it's
Uh, well, the stock
um
market's been going up the last 9 days, so I know that. I know. Hopefully, your wind goes up the
hopefully
next
the
9 days.
wind
That'll be
wind
good.
too. Yeah, it seems
Yeah,
like it.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like there's a good amount of east in it, which is
Hmm.
We're happy to see that, crossing the Kaiwi. And yeah, like I from what I've consistently saw, it could either be 17 miles an hour or 27 miles an hour,
Right.
anything in between. So, and it looks like the trade winds are starting to build. From what I saw, it looks like they had some like right when May started. So
Yeah.
I think that's always a good sign, that the channel's been trending. So
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely trending in the right direction for sure. So
mhm.
I think that it's better than being flat, or better than looking like it's going to be flat
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
mean, anything is gonna be, a lot more
Appreciated.
action
Yeah.
than what we battle in here. So even if it
Yeah.
was a flat channel, I think it would be, be more conditions than, Southern California, that's for sure. So
I don't want you to have to reveal this, but what do you think your line choice is going to be for this race, or do you want to save it?
no, I honestly I think it's pretty self-explanatory just based on the conditions. It looks to me just a straight shot, so
Hmm. Hmm.
and I think that's
You
what it
think
was
some?
last year too.
You think some of the guys will overthink it?
I mean, there's always people that I mean, you're looking at one of them, right? That kind of overthinks, but yeah, I'm going in super blissful, right? I think the last one for me was 2018, so it feels like I'm like I'm out of it a little bit, so
Mhm.
it's just happy to be out there. This was definitely celebrate the journey versus the destination, type of race. And
Sure.
I think
Hmm.
I think that's kind of what the channel is in itself, right? It's you're not really thinking about your destination. You're just kind of playing what, the conditions are thrown at you and kind of based on your line. And I think you have your grand plan, but then the thing about this race is you got to know how to pivot. Like, my water system kind of failed me or something broke or, just real like small nuances. It's you just gotta, have to adapt on the fly. And so
I know we were kind of chatting about last year and some of the escort boats getting lost from their paddlers, and
yeah.
I think they even had one that kind of had troubles at sea, and they had to figure out how to get it back. But are you preparing for that if the conditions are kind of nuking? Are you preparing yourself to not have an escort boat around for the first half of the race?
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
And honestly, if it's nuking, that just means it's a faster channel. So
Right.
there's a silver lining, I guess, right? If your chase boat or your escort boat cannot find you, at least that probably means, like, well, besides mechanical failure or whatever, you're just, the conditions are so big that they have a hard time finding you, and hopefully you're surfing.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
Let's talk
good
about the
point. Yeah,
field a
that's
little
like
bit.
another
Yeah,
good
you
point
just
about like
don't
having
know.
to pivot and just prepare. So,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. It goes for all
preparing
you
that
guys
in
going
future.
across. You guys be ready just in case.
Yeah, yeah.
Never know. Never know. The field, speaking of which, is a huge field. Looking at the list, it's well over 100 people. Men,
It's
women,
well over
and juniors.
120 people, it looks like.
Yeah, it's a lot, right?
Yeah.
So the real question is, and what we have to debate here
Okay.
is, can 120 paddlers beat one gorilla? I'm, I'm sorry.
And get
I,
memed. That's a good one. Yeah. Um,
120 paddlers. Can they beat one gorilla? I
and the
don't even
Kaiwi
know how
channel.
that hit in the Kiwi channel. Yeah, I don't even
Yeah.
know how that hit the internet, but I just keep
I don't
seeing
know
it
either.
everywhere, and I'm like, oh my god, man.
Well,
Anyways,
my first question is, can a gorilla swim?
no, no,
Then,
I don't know.
then yeah.
Then
Then
you
I'd
guys are
say
safe.
no. My answer
So,
is no on that. Then.
um, looking at the field, I know there's one recognizable name that I didn't see on the list, which was Lindsay Shank. But I know that I think she's moved back east, if I'm not mistaken. So she's probably not training for it. But Aloha Shane is on the list from Tahiti. She'll be racing, which will be pretty fun to see her mix it up with a couple of the other Wahinis
Yeah.
that are in there.
Absolutely. I got a question for you. What canoe do you think Aloha uses?
That's it's funny because she's not registered on the list with a canoe.
Yeah,
So my guess is it's going to be Noeo, because all those guys from Tahiti they get on the
yeah,
composite
okay,
train. But
yeah,
I think she'll be on a Noeo. That's my guess.
so it looks like, yeah, you got her I mean, she's a hammer, right? We'll see how
Yeah.
she applies that in, surfing ability, especially
Hmm.
going up against Lauren. Right?
Lauren Malden.
Lauren's
Yeah.
she was on there, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of youth versus experience, right? It's
Yeah, and I don't know Aloha has a lot of experience across that channel besides maybe
well, yeah,
being in six men.
she was my youth side that I was saying.
Yeah.
Lauren would
Gotcha.
be the
Yeah.
experienced one. I got a thought. So last year was all time, and Pat Dolan broke the record.
Right.
Did Lindsay Shank break
The
the
women's
Wahine
record?
record? Yeah, I wonder if that's
I think I heard them announce that it wasn't a record for the Wahines, but it was,
okay.
I mean, obviously it was an unbelievable crossing for
Yeah,
everyone who made it, you know?
yeah, and I'm not sure if this weekend is record-breaking conditions, but
You never know.
that would be pretty insane, right? Like, yeah, like Lindsay, you won last year and you're not here this race, but I broke the record. Like
Right.
that would be nuts.
Mhm.
Be pretty hard to do without Lindsay though, to like pace with
Yeah.
me, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
don't think Lauren really needs anyone to pace with. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
lot of dudes she's gonna beat
Yeah.
this weekend, so
Yeah.
there's that too. So
Yeah. I think we'll see her crossing probably at
yeah.
least top 15 right over the line.
Drop in these waves, waving her Yeti cooler, just yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh man,
Man,
that's funny.
she's one of to me, she's like she's gotta be the Kaiwi GOAT. I mean,
Lawrence Baldwin?
oh, yeah. I think
Yeah, yeah,
she's
yeah,
got the
yeah.
most titles. I think she has the most, Kaiwi solo titles.
Yeah, I think you're right too.
Yeah.
It's hard because a lot of the information on previous channel crossings, there's not a lot of. It's hard to kind of track down, but
Mm,
yeah, I mean, she
yeah.
definitely is, going to be top of the to beat list for the Wahines.
Yeah, I wonder if this is gonna be like was there ever, like, overlap with Carell and Lewis Laughlin? I wonder if there
I
was
don't think so. I think
Lewis
Lewis
Laughlin's a
was.
little older, right?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think he was done way before.
Okay, so I'm trying to think
Because I
of
see what you're trying to come like you're
yeah,
trying to
I'm
pair her
trying to
up.
make like
Yeah.
a parallel, right? Like
Hmm.
narrative wise. Well, let's go like more modern day then. I guess this is kind of like is this would this be kind of like when Kai was doing his thing and then you had the likes of like Monoteo Owens coming or something,
Maybe. Yeah.
right? I wonder if there's I don't know. I mean, this is total apples and oranges. I mean, Lauren and Eloha, they're creating their own like someday we're gonna be comparing Wahine paddlers, right? Like, years from now. It's like, oh yeah, this is kind of like when,
Hmm.
Lindsay and Lauren used to battle and
Hmm.
so, I don't want to take anything away from them, and like compare them to any other paddler or narrative, I guess. But it's just really
Yeah.
we're very intrigued with that matchup and but
Well, there's some men's matchups that are going to be really, really big this year too. I mean, you've got Danny on a new canoe, which he historically always does well on a new canoe,
yeah.
and then you got Pat Dolan coming back off a record. You got Tristan just on the heels of a record,
Hmm.
and you have a handful of other guys that are in there trying to really, get down and get across the, win this race. It should be a really
You
tough.
stole my headliner, by the way,
Oh, I
using
did.
random
Sorry.
canoe. Yeah, it's okay.
Oh.
That was I'll let you borrow that one.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Okay, hopefully it comes rent free, Brad. I don't know if I can afford it, but
No, I mean but there's so many. Yeah, it's the fact that too. There's you throw in Danny's canoe, and there is a lot of people are still going to be on the Aries, right?
mhm.
With the fella. I wonder if what that ratio is going to look like. Are we gonna see more? You got to think we'll see more Velas on the top guys, right? The top team rider paddlers, and then but
There is a huge amount of no wheels in the field.
yeah,
There's a lot of them. Yeah,
yeah,
I was kind of just
that's
looking at the
notable
list,
too.
and yeah, and for I get obviously the no wheels, taking the Pueo spot in that world, but
Mhm.
I still see a lot of Aries on the that are in there. I don't see a lot of Velas in the field, considering that you would think that there would be a excess amount of Velas on the water, right?
Yeah.
But I know that like I think you were the one that was telling me that Claudio had said that the Vela is not necessarily a beginner's canoe, right? Something like to that nature.
Yeah. Yeah, he said it's definite I forgot what his exact words was, but yeah, he that was basically his message, was like there's a learning curve to it, it's a little bit more of an advanced type of, canoe to get up and
He's
going.
he's going to be in the field too, right? Is that correct?
He is, yeah.
That's cool. Good for
The
him, man.
badger, the Brazilian badger. He'll be out there.
Yeah. Our
Yeah,
boy Brett Siron's going to be in the field too. That's going to be pretty wild for him. It'll be his first race across. That's pretty good. I wish him
that's
best of
right.
luck
Yeah.
too.
Oh
He's
yeah.
been getting pretty good at surfing, so hopefully he can hang on. That's a long channel and a big surf to do it in.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, every video we see of him is he's, Hawaii Kai, Maui to
Hmm.
Molokai, and so he definitely, and he lives for this, right? Like this is down the runs are he just raves about it.
Yeah.
Something that he was so drawn to, just from the very beginning, it seems like.
Yeah. A handful of his buddies from Hailani are all racing too. Some of the guys that came out for Wild Buffalo are all in the field as well, which is pretty cool. It's a huge field.
I
It's
know.
like unreal big, you know.
Were you able to see how many juniors there were?
Like I'd have to break it all down. I wish I could convert it all into Excel, then I could just split it all up. But looking at them all, there is quite a bit of them. It's quite a bit. There's a Wahine that's 14 to 16. He's age
Oh,
16.
wow.
Yeah, 16 years old.
See, that's pretty cool, man. The fact that, like,
Spencer Allen, 17. Kamaleo Kika, he's 18. There is, yeah, man.
yeah, we're both looking
Another
at our phones.
Wahine, Tria Bolin. Yeah, I know. I'll have to put it up on screen. I wish I had a better list to
Yeah.
look at. I have to fumble through it on my
Yeah, you
phone.
gotta,
But
like, zoom in too.
yeah. There's a lot of young Wahines that are crossing this year,
That's cool.
which is really cool, man. Wyatt, of course. I think him and
Mhm.
Spencer are going to be battling that out.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Wyatt had an amazing channel last year. He was
Yeah,
top
he did.
10.
Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
think he was ahead of Danny,
Mm-hmm.
up until China Walls, which
Oh, I
is
think you're right. I think that's what you were
yeah.
saying.
So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, I think he's looking for another good crossing.
yeah,
There's gonna be a lot of competition inside the race field,
yeah.
and I think like you said, the race starts at hour 3, right? Is that what all the guys say?
Yep. Yeah,
So
but I don't know, man. Looks like now I mean, last year it looks like it started at 2.5 hours.
right.
But
So what's your
yeah,
travel plan? You're going to Oahu tomorrow, right?
yeah, tomorrow, and then on Friday, my cousin and uncle we're gonna motor up
Yeah,
across. Yeah, and then races Saturday.
and stay there and race Saturday. You gonna stay at your family's place on Molokai on Friday night?
Yeah. We'll stay on the homestead Friday night, and then hopefully I get a ride to the race start. I might hit up other paddlers, see if I can catch a ride to if anyone's
How far
coming
is the
through
home?
town.
How far is the homestead from there,
It's like
from the
a
start?
40-minute drive, or 30 to 40-minute drive.
It's such a small island. That's a long drive, brother.
Yeah. Um,
All dirt road.
so who do you shall we get into our top 5 predict? Do you want to
Yeah,
do some predictions? What do you think?
yeah. Let's do some predictions. Let's see how we can put this together. I'm historically terrible at top fives. I always pick wrong. You always
Yeah.
seem to pick right. So I'll give you my top 5 in
Wh-
no
What if
order.
we Okay, no, I was gonna say, what if we just pick our, like, 3 guys that we think are gonna win?
Okay, and just no order,
But
right?
then,
I'll just put
but
them
like
out
if we
there.
go 3, I feel like there's a chance that we will pick the same guy.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll tell you what.
Shoot.
I'm going to give you my best shot at top 10 guys.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay.
Sheesh. Bro,
In no
you've been
particular
totally,
order.
you've been nerding out, huh? Like, I
Yeah,
let me
in no
while you do
particular
that,
order.
let me pull up the list then.
Okay.
Okay, no particular order.
Yep.
I don't know though. If you're gonna give 10 names, I think you gotta give your top 10. To me,
Ah.
that's why I think the 3 guys, to win,
Okay.
that's
Okay.
wh-
3
oh,
to
this is
win.
this is where I wish we were live. Like people are like, hey, what do you guys think? What is the
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do the 3 that we're talking about, right? The 3 winner, like, possible slash probable paddlers,
Mhm.
and then we give our top 10, and then
Just the
or
whole breakdown?
the
Okay.
whole the top 10, and then the 3 is a wash because, like,
Okay.
we have 3 possible winners.
Okay.
So basically 4th to 6th.
Okay.
Okay? I
Okay.
feel like I
You
feel
want me
like
to go
this
first?
is well, I was gonna say we should do, like, first place prediction, or, like, first
Okay.
name to think of, and, like, see if we say the same name at the same time, like
Okay.
Step Brothers,
Yeah.
like, "John Stamos."
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
All right.
so we'll say let's do to kind of flip, we say the name out on 3, like, who the first name that comes to mind as your champion. How about
Okay.
that one?
As my pick.
As your pick. And let's see
Okay.
if we come up with the same name. But then we will still pick 2 other paddlers that I would wanna factor in to win,
Okay.
right? Okay, so who's gonna
All right.
count it?
Considering, okay, so
Totally
last year the
hedging
wind
bets
was,
here.
I know. How fast was the wind blowing last year? 25, 27?
I think it was yeah, it was greater than 25, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we're a little bit slower wind conditions,
Yeah.
basically same direction. The tide's in your guys' favor this year.
Yep.
And I'm going for
Wait,
I'm gonna
don't give the name yet. Don't give the name yet.
okay,
We gotta
okay.
count
All
it.
right, I'm ready. Okay.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, Tristan.
Tristan. Uh,
Dude, that was
okay.
a good pull. We never talked about this.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, we've been picking that guy. We picked him last year. He was super close.
Yeah.
And he's been I don't know, he kind of seems a little quiet this year. I feel like last year he was making more noise leading into the solo.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm definitely just based on that performance last year. I'm not. Yeah, I can't count him out.
Yeah, and it's I think it's baited if you go by the one man series in Hawaii, and you look at
Yeah.
I'm not I mean not speaking against Ryland. I mean Ryland had an unbelievable season, but I just think if you look at that and you see that like the top group as they go, I think it's just an easy trap to say Ryland's gonna, has the best shot at winning it because he's won so much. I just don't think that works that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's so I mean, that's why it's so hard. That's why I always say that the channel chooses. It's crazy to
Yeah.
think before there was like 3 guys that were in the mix consistently, right? Between
Hmm.
Kai, Carell, Danny, right? That was like the and then you pepper in a Pat Dolan here and there as he started stepping into, his prime. Um,
Yeah.
but you look at it now, man, there's like 10 guys that could win it.
Yeah.
And there's
It
more
Oh yeah.
than 5 guys from Hawaii that could win it, right?
Hmm.
So
More than 5
just
from Hawaii, yeah. I mean, you have, Danny, right? And let's go with our
okay.
number 2.
Okay.
Okay,
Well,
3.
or
Okay, wait.
we're gonna say I would say we don't have to say it at the same time anymore. We could just kind of pick.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
I'll let you go first.
I'm gonna say Danny sneaks into number 2.
Okay, we're definitely in lockstep there. Yeah, I'm not gonna count that guy out, and
No, no.
and
He's
I
in a position to show a canoe works too. So he's gonna push hard. And he's been training hard.
yes, and I see him all the time, and for me, it's like it's my perspective, right? And like I trust my eyes with like seeing
Yeah,
like
you see it.
you know,
Yeah. Mhm.
and again, and I'm also biased, but yeah, it's like never gonna count that guy out. He's if he's
Yeah.
showing up, it's kind of like the New England Patriots, right? They didn't win every year, and it wasn't like
No.
Kansas City where like, oh, they're constantly. But if they were in the playoffs, they
Yeah.
could have that year that like people are just like, man, can't stop it. So
Yeah, I know. I
that's
know.
kind of Danny Ching right there.
Yeah, yeah. He's Tom Brady-esque for sure.
Yeah,
You just can't count him out
yeah.
ever.
So speaking
Okay.
of which, well, before we get into the third paddler that can win it, that was a very interesting thing we forgot to get into is Pat Dolan's not on the start list.
Yeah, so I thought I misread it last night.
Did you see
Is he not
Angie
racing?
Dolan? And you,
Yeah, I saw
uh,
Angie on there.
yeah, I didn't see Pat Dolan's name on there.
Yeah, I didn't either. I thought, and last
So
night I was looking at it when I was in bed, and I didn't see his name on there either.
So
So I
to
don't know.
me, yeah, to me that yeah, that caught me by surprise. And if that's true, there's a lot of paddlers that are just licking their chops for this weekend.
Well, you got, and so
Oh,
like going into the third,
okay.
I'm gonna throw it out there.
Or should we say this one at the same time? Because I have a feeling it might be the same guy. Because we're pretty in lockstep right now, and
Yeah,
and everyone's gonna think that we totally this was is it premeditated or proposed this one
but
or
I
rehearsed
honestly
this one, I
say
should say.
it's not. Yeah. No way. There's no.
Okay.
We didn't plan this.
Okay, let's give the third one same time. You ready?
Okay.
And it's
Okay.
not third place. It's the third guy
It's
that
just
we
the
could
third
see
guy
winning.
in contention. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
3,
Ready?
yeah. 3, 2, 1, Monoteo Mion.
Kevin CJ.
Oh, you said Kevin
Yeah.
Kevin C. Yeah. Yeah, he's
He's always been right there behind first, second,
Yeah.
and third a ton of
Yeah.
times, you know.
Yeah.
And he's due, and he's the kind of guy too that I think he's got a better feel of his line. And the other thing too is I think Monatea and Steve, all three of them, have
Yeah.
a serious shot of taking first or being in the top three. I think Monatea is gonna have a chip on his shoulder from not making the New Zealand team. That's why I think he's gonna
And you
be
think that'll
really
work
tough.
against him?
No, work for him. I think he'll have a chip on
Oh,
his
oh,
shoulder.
okay.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I think
but
that'll.
not enough to win.
I don't know. I don't know. It's hard for me to say. It's like those guys are always on. Those guys are always interchangeable. Like at any given
Yeah.
time, it's hard to predict what each of them are going to do.
Yeah. I guess, my 3 guys that I'm predicting is, I'm kinda for me, it's your approach is very logical and like you thought this one through, and I'm just
I've
for
been thinking about
me.
it all day.
Yeah, and,
Yeah,
this one's I guess I'm kinda more coming out of the heart, I'm thinking with my heart on this one,
yep,
versus
yep,
like who because like I would love to see Tristan win it, right?
yep.
And of course, I'd
Oh,
love to
same
see
with me.
Danny win it. Yeah,
Yep.
and it's funny, and then I throw Monatea in there. I just we got to hang out with him a little bit, earlier this year,
hmm
and to me, just watching that guy paddle, man, it's that guy hovers on the water. Like
Yeah.
it's almost like his paddle is a foil, or his
Like
paddle turns his canoe into a foil.
here's where I think with him that can get tough is in really big conditions. I'm not it's not that I don't think he's good in big conditions. What I'm saying is that, when your wind is coming from east and you got some south
Mm,
swell mixed into it and water's going like this, right?
yeah,
He's really light and he can get turned around on a canoe really easy. And he paddles so light, like you said, like he's flying on top of the water. I
yeah,
could just see that being a little bit of a problem for him. And I think it was last year too for all of those guys. Even Danny was saying how he was just like hanging on to some of those rides, right? But I think that if it's anything close to what it was last year, Monte is going to just have a little bit of a tougher time. That's all. Not that he can't possibly win it. I just think he might have a little bit more of a tougher time.
yeah, man. You got the clipboard out today, bro.
I think I,
You watch too much NFL draft, man. You got like
yeah.
the draft profile on all these I got the athletic profile on all these paddlers. It's
Yeah, yeah. And not
I'm
that
I'm
not
I'm impressed.
I mean, there's other guys that are obviously gonna challenge. Ryland's gonna try and challenge. Jack Seymour had such a huge downhill win there in M to M,
Yeah.
and some of those guys are gonna show up. They're gonna show up. But
And
I don't know. I just think that if you look at overall the last like 5 or last years we've run it, there's been kind of a real consistent basis of like top 10 guys, and they haven't changed much.
so there's a good take. I think that's a good bold. This race could be a proper for this take, but
hmm
maybe there is that paddler that sneaks into the top 10 that we're like, who?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Well, Wyatt last year was the one. I was like, oh my god,
yeah,
it was so
yeah,
unreal,
yeah,
right?
yeah. You're right. Last year was a year for it.
Yeah. Well, and this year too. We could see Wyatt, and you could see, Spencer, and you could, those guys could roll into the top 15 or into the top 10 pretty easy.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be hard to imagine that now. Last year was totally a surprise. I would never have thought that last year, but now it's like reality. Could happen with any of those guys.
Yeah, it's amazing how everyone is fast now, right?
Yeah.
It's not just the Tahitians are fast, and
No, the Hawaiian kids, and I call them kids because they're all way younger than me. But man, they sure know how to paddle the channel. They know how to pick their lines. They know how to move through the surf well. They know how to connect it all. They know how to get beat up on the rocks without losing it. They've got it. And the Tahitians do really well because they're just good paddlers. But I think there is like you say it all the time. The channel chooses. I think that's a real thing. I really do.
and the kids now, right? I think the guidance is better. So shout out to
Yeah.
all the keiki programs out there, right? All the uncles that are taking a whole crew of kids out on the water to go do Hawaii Kai runs or whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
We're seeing it all over our social feeds of
Did you
these
see
kids
did you see those
charging.
clips of Koa Perry paddling up and down China
Yeah,
walls
yeah,
nonstop just time in that spot,
mhm,
so you
yeah.
can just feel the energy coming off the rocks. You can kind of just get comfortable with it. I think that I mean you've said it, and I'd like for you to share it a little bit. When you're coming into the last third of the race, and you start feeling the energy off the island, and you get to that point along the rocks, along China walls, and or even before it, it's a dangerous spot to be because of that victory at sea kind of how the water moves.
Yeah, and it's crazy to think, right? Like the best in the world, they're feeling that's right at the 3 hour mark for them, right? Like where they're
Right.
just and it's that barrier, right? You're feeling the physical energy but from the ocean, but you're also feeling that the physical fatigue from your body because you've been at it
Mhm.
for 3 4 some paddlers 4 plus hours, and then there's that mental fatigue, right, where it's like some paddlers, I think my first solo was like you're just by yourself for 3 plus hours. You have no idea, and and then it's just there's that mental fatigue, of just you're talking to yourself, you're listening to yourself, and so yeah, that's the part of the channel that I think bring people back. I mean, it,
Yeah.
it brings me back because it's such a it's like climbing a mountain, honestly. I mean, it's not like I climbed a lot of mountains, but it feels like you're kind of hitting that apex of like, oh, where pain feels real, and then
Yeah.
it's persevering through that pain.
Yeah.
And yeah, every year I've done it, it's like you always I don't know, it's not like you're trying to have it feel easier, but you just want to feel stronger to be able to push through that, and then of course go faster. And I was actually watching, I think it was last year's channel crossing video. I think T-Loy might have made it, and I think he was interviewing, I think, Kristen Foster, and she says something that like is totally hand in hand with my approach to it. It's
Yeah.
you want to do that race knowing that you gave it everything, right? You gave it everything in your training, your preparation for it, and you gave it everything on the channel on the day. And because
Mhm.
you're always gonna have paddlers that, oh, I should have went this way, I should have went that way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
The what if, yeah.
yeah, and then I think that's also another aspect that brings paddlers back to it, because they may have to navigate that decision again, right? Like of like, oh, this feels like last year. Am I
Yeah.
making that same mistake, or is it actually working this year, right? And so
Mhm.
so what Kristen said about just, I'm paraphrasing, but just the message of, I want to know that I just gave it my everything, and I left it all out there. And for me,
Right.
back to the whole, journey versus the destination, is I cherished the time that I could train and paddle. And there's times where, oh man, it just this feels like a job. Like, I got to do this, wake up at 3:45 in the morning, and
Yeah.
go
Mhm.
sprints, and it's cold, and then I gotta go work after, and then blah blah blah. And but those are those like pushing through those perseverance moments, right? And
Yeah.
you can really apply that in the channel too,
Mhm.
during your
Mhm.
race. And yeah, just going out there and just knowing that you gave it your all. So
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
super long-winded.
No, that's okay though. I mean, that's kind of, there is I think there's a emotional component to this. Not emotional, but there is a mental component to this thing that's super, super
Yeah, I mean, and
important.
it
And
super
discipline,
can be emotional. Yeah,
Mhm.
there's so many emotions out there.
Yeah, you gotta really
And
want it.
yeah, it's the balance too, right? Of, okay, you're trying to go as fast as you can, but you're also trying to be as patient as and
Yeah,
that's not easy
I
to do.
yeah, I think that's what's gonna not kill, but that's what works against a guy like Steve. That guy just
Mm,
attacked, and
yeah,
I think that's where Kevin CJ kind of gets him a little bit, is because Kevin's got a lot of patience. You can see it when he paddles. He's just picking his lines and picking his bumps, and he's not going after all of them. But I don't know. I mean, there's a component of patience in this whole thing. I think you called it out when we were doing Wild Buffalo. You were saying, look how patient Danny is setting up for the bump and taking
yeah,
advantage of it at the right spot. And
Well,
Not
yeah,
jumping it too
it's
soon or too late, you know?
yeah, it was we were just watching him, when the Rogue Boatwake came by and, he's just surfing it and
Bruce's Boatwake. Not
yeah,
Rogue,
yeah,
Bruce's
yeah,
Boatwake.
Bruce,
Yeah,
yeah, okay.
yeah,
And
yeah,
how, Danny can accelerate with the best of them, right? But
yep,
I was astonished by how he decelerated and just, like,
mhm.
basically kinda hit the brakes to, stay on that wave or just downshift to, get in the right spot on the bump.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
that's a lot of experience
a ton, mhm.
and it's,
Yeah, where you wanna go, you just sit on it and
right,
just let it
and using the
line
words
up the
like
ladder rungs and choo, choo, choo. Yep,
patience and Danny Ching in the same sentence is like, wow, like, that's
yeah.
you don't say that one every day.
No, but, that's
But,
a I think that's a
he's been at it
maturity
for
thing too,
years
right?
now, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a maturity thing. It's, I mean, obviously, he's got so much race experience, and the only thing he has never tried was to be patient, so,
yeah.
yeah, I think it's working out for him pretty good.
Yeah,
I feel, like, Ryland obviously had a really good season, and I feel like I'm doing him like Shadur Sanders right now. I just like leaving him on leaving him on the draft board and not picking his name. But I mean, I'd like to see him do well, and he's poised to do so. He had a great season, so I guess we'll see with him. But like I said, I don't know. Winning a lot during the race season doesn't necessarily equate to winning the channel.
doesn't always, but it's certainly that guy has a chance. So let's finish our let's round our top 10 then. So basically
Okay.
4th to 6.
Yeah. Well, we kind of have five. So we have,
Okay. Well, I think
we have
you
Danny, Tristan, Steve, Monatea, and Kevin CJ.
Kevin. Okay, so yeah, that's okay. And then what happens there?
I think, I think somewhere in the bottom five there, we have Ryland. I think in there for sure. I think
Mhm.
Wyatt takes one of those spots again. I don't see him not. You want my wild card for top 10?
Is he an older or younger paddler?
Older.
Okay. Is it Travis Grant?
No.
Oh, that is a wild card.
It's just a long shot, but he's been there plenty of times before, and he's just been training really well this year. So
Oh,
I'm trying to will him in, no pun intended, trying to will him into the top 10.
I like it.
Yeah,
You're trying to Will Reichenstein that?
yeah, I'm trying to will Reichenstein that one into the top 10.
Yeah, talk about deceleration and like patience and that guy this year, and you saw it last year too. His training approach is seems to be very different, than
Yeah,
the status
he's
quo, right? Like
he's a
or the
lot.
standard. I don't know what we want to
He's
call
a
it, but
lot stronger than the last few years. It seems like. I mean,
so strong. Yeah,
yeah, and he can surf so well. So I think this kind of lines up really well for him to get into that fold. I think.
yeah, and you know what? He did the North Shore, challenge, right? And that was
Yeah,
the weekend the winds were
so
or, like, the
two
swell was too nuts, so they ended up just
yeah,
doing 2, Maliko
Malika
runs,
no,
right?
yeah, two Malika runs. Yep.
And, like, one Saturday and one Sunday, and
Yep.
sounds like that guy had a really good race the Sunday when he
Yeah.
calibrated, he got used to it.
Yep.
So, the fact that he can kinda take that race and, stick it in his pocket, right, and, pull that out this weekend, that yeah, I would love to see that guy in the top 10,
Yeah.
super stacked field.
I think
Do you
Miles
think
sneaks in there too.
him and Miles gonna be battling the Newport, the Newport Aquatic Center, old
Yeah.
guard and new guard?
Yeah. The legend. Yeah. The
I guess he's not a
legendary
new
NAC
guard, but,
status. Yeah.
he's a junior.
No, I think
The Grom
Miles is gonna sneak in there too.
so Miles is your, like, bubble top 10 guy then?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I think Miles gets in there. I think Spencer Allen put a good beating on Miles a couple weeks back, and
Oh, for what race was that?
I forget which one it was. I just remember seeing it.
If it was
Miles
flat
took
water, I believe it. That guy is so
pretty
good.
flat. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's the only thing about Spencer that's gonna kind of work against him is big surf, but he's getting used to it. He's been paddling in it a bunch. I think
Mhm.
he'll be fine. So
Yeah,
I can see him sneaking his way in there too. But I don't know. I don't know. It's like you said, Jack Seymour coming off a hot race, and you just never know with those guys.
yeah. Yeah, and him and Miles are so close in, those guys are always like seconds apart. So
I
it's kind of a
know.
crapshoot with those two.
Yep. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy when you start going down the list and you're like, oh damn, I didn't even have that guy in the top 10. That guy's a
I know.
stud. So it's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Travis Grant's another one, right? Just like
yeah,
you just never know with that guy
he's
too. You just don't
he's
know.
having a he's having a great year. That guy.
Mhm. Mhm. How
Um,
old is he now?
he's Danny's age. He's like 43.
Okay, mid-40s. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
cool, man. Good for him. Yeah,
yeah.
that'll be fun. There's gonna be some good racing. I hope that I know Ocean Paddler's supposed to broadcast it, so hopefully they get good signal across the channel and we
Hmm.
all get to see it. That'd be really cool if it works out. But yeah, I mean getting signal across the channel has been a tough thing to do. So
Yeah,
hopefully they got it figured out. Because
yeah. I
I know
wonder
they
if.
Keizo tried it last year, right? He was trying to run it last year on a Starlink and they had problems
Mhm.
with it, I think.
uh,
It's tough when the boat's going 30 degrees to 30 degrees in the surf. It's just not.
Yeah, especially in
You
that in
can't
that
line up
surf last year.
can't line up satellites very well that way.
No, yeah, yeah, no, it's stacked field.
I think the
I
women are all kind of line up like I think that we already named the top three. I think for sure.
Yeah, I'm, definitely rounding it with Kristen. She's in the
Yeah, yeah.
field.
Kristen Foster, the other
Yeah,
one, right?
yeah,
But I
yeah.
know Leanne's going to be there. She had a really good crossing last year in the
Mhm.
big surf, which was pretty cool. Like coming from
Yeah.
Canada and having success in big water
She
like that.
lost I think she lost her escrow boat, right? Did I
Yeah,
hear that?
maybe she was. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so
right. And at the end, she was like struggling on some nutrition, I think.
yeesh, yeah.
But yeah, it should be. It's gonna be fun race to watch. If they hopefully they have it up live and we're able to see it, without a lot of interruption.
Mhm.
But we'll pick up updates along the way, so it'll be good.
Yeah, I just hope
Anything
it's a
you're
fast
anything
one.
you're worried about? Anything you're worried about?
Worried about? No. It's just going in super open-minded.
You, you have anybody targeted you want to get after, or are you just gonna go and do your best and that's it?
My goal is I want to finish top 5 juniors.
Yep.
Which
What your
hopefully
goal should be
hopefully
is to just
hopefully less than 5 juniors beat me. That's my
what you should do right off the start is just draft Claudio for the first like 5 miles, just so he knows what it feels like.
uh yeah. Yeah, but yeah, no specific goals. I told you this one. As far as I'm concerned, I feel like I already won the race. The fact that I just get to
Yeah,
do it.
yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, you're
training for it
ready
was
for it. Yeah,
yeah,
yep,
yeah, and
yep.
just to be ready, like fit, not just physically, but just everything. Your being right mentally. And
Well, it helps that your family's going to be waiting for you on the shoreline. I mean that
yeah, yeah,
alone
it's pretty
will
cool.
put enough give you enough mental stability to do it.
Yeah,
Not having to worry about like, okay, I got to get there and then get on an airplane and fly home, and then it's like all of those things. Like if you put all that away, it's like okay, I get to see my daughter and my wife on the beach. Like you're just
and
going to be in the right space all the way.
And I get to sleep in, Sunday morning instead of waking up super early to go paddle.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
That's good motivation too.
yeah.
But,
Oh, you earned it. You earned a Sunday off, brother. You earned it.
yeah, yeah, but, I think it's just gonna be fun. I haven't really had like, an epic channel. Like, I'd
Hmm.
say the last time the 6-man was epic last year. That was so much fun. That was by far one of my favorite paddling, races.
Yeah.
I've
Well,
done
finishing
the
top 10 is great.
Yeah, but it's just
You
as
guys
far
had
as,
your
like,
eyes
the
on it.
conditions and, like, you're just, like,
Yeah.
blasting in the surf, like, "Oh, this is, like, epic."
Mhm. Mhm.
Where you're, like, paddles down and just like, "Yes!"
Yeah.
There was one year I did the relay with my old friend Nick, 2011 or 2012, Molokai relay, and that was epic. That was my first time across on a one man,
Mhm.
and if those kind of conditions can come back, like, I would be that would be amazing. That'd be so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I feel like you're in probably I think mentally you're in a really good headspace compared to other races you've raced before. I think you got
Yeah.
good energy, you got a good outlook, you're feeling good, and that for
Oh,
me is
yeah.
exciting because I know you're gonna have fun, and that's all that matters. Like just
Yeah.
go have fun and do your best.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those like, if it was gonna be flat, game on. If it's gonna be victory at sea,
Yeah.
game on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just so happy, so grateful that I get to do it. That's all I can ask for.
Right on, brother. Well, let's land this airplane. Anything else you want to get off your chest before we end this one?
No, thanks for sharing this journey with me. You know kind of what
Yeah,
I've been through trying to get to this race. So I appreciate all your support
yeah.
and good fun
No, I'm stoked for you. It's gonna be fun to watch. It's gonna be fun to see, fun to talk to you about after, fun to get all the stories together. And the benefit for the Broadcast Braddahs is that you'll be there on the finish line and lining up interviews for it.
Oh yeah. So I gotta tell you, I thought of this a while ago. And I started laughing to myself, and I forgot to bring it up to you. But so yeah, that Turby. So Justin always likes to text me before a race, and he says, "Give him both
Give them
barrels."
both barrels. Yep.
Right? And me, that metaphor kept going over my head this whole time. You know what I thought, "Give 'em both barrels"? You know what I think of when
No,
I hear "Give 'em both
no.
barrels"? Donkey Kong throwing 2 barrels. You know, when you're playing the Donkey Kong video game? I'm thinking
Oh
like,
man.
wow, yeah, okay, because that's when you wanna try beat Donkey Kong, right? Because like, you avoid the 2 I should throw the 2 barrels at him,
Yeah.
and so that metaphor, that analogy, it just occurred to me that that was a shotgun reference,
Yep.
and,
I obviously you never watched the westerns when you were a kid.
no, no, can't say I
Yeah.
have, and I
Yeah.
can't believe I
It's
said that one out loud, and I never told you that one, but I was like, yeah, well, I just think of Donkey Kong throwing 2 barrels.
That's I think that's the beauty of the whole thing is like learning what it is. I mean it's like there are
Yeah,
things you say fly over my head too and I'm like, what do you mean by that? I don't understand
yeah.
what that means. But yeah, give them both barrels refers to side by side shotgun. Yep.
Okay, okay, yeah,
Yeah, so the old shotguns, so there's the bird shotguns are over under, and the old Western shotguns were split barrel and they were side by side, and you had the option to set the trigger to shoot both
yeah.
barrels at one time. So they were designed for. I mean, obviously they were designed to kill animals and whatever else and live off the land. But that's the saying is like you just don't leave any doubt. You give them both barrels,
Just
and that's how you eliminate doubt. Right.
yeah, I mean, that was the message, right, that we were saying earlier is just leaving it all out there, knowing that you gave
Yep.
it everything you had,
Yep.
and,
But hey, if
yeah,
you like
can't
Donkey
wait.
Kong, that's fine too, bro. All about it. I'm all about it.
Oh, yeah,
You know
that
when you
one
were
was
telling me that story? Have you seen the movie? You've seen the movie Pixels, right, with Adam Sandler?
yes, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Don't
yeah.
they
So
fight
when you were
Donkey Kong
talking,
in that?
yeah, at the end of the movie.
Yeah,
So when you were
okay.
saying that, I was like, oh, I was imagining Adam Sandler jumping around while he's throwing barrels at him. It's so ridiculous.
Uh, yeah, with that, yeah, we should, I think we'll end it on that one, but,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm just, that's what I wanted to get off my chest, so
Right
thank
on.
you.
Yeah, 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 brother.
Yeah.
You're welcome. And I'm looking forward to watching you. I love watching you race. I love watching you paddle, and I'm looking forward to seeing you successfully get across. And to everyone else out there in the field, have a safe crossing, and we'll all be watching, and we'll all have comments. But you're doing an amazing thing this year. All you guys, 120 plus of you guys crossing the channel. So be safe. And with that note, brother, have a good night, and we
Dude,
will be talking to you post race, right?
yeah, yeah, let's,
We'll set up
we'll see if,
a recap.
yeah, definitely, yeah, stay tuned for that, and,
Yeah, yeah. Maybe I can steal some of Taloy's video for a recap.
there you go.
Okay. All right, brother. Have a good night.
Alrighty, you too. Aloha.
Okay. Hello, brother. Yep. Shoot.